Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's ClaritySoft Focus Training. My name is Susan Arnold. I'm the Implementation Specialist here at ClaritySoft, and this week's webinar is on all things email. Today is Tuesday, October 9th, 2018, and our topics today will cover all the basic things that you need to know about working with email in ClaritySoft. So with that being said, let's go ahead and look at our agenda for the day. As many of you know, if you've been working with ClaritySoft, we do have different ways to connect to Gmail, Outlook, and allow you to save emails from those entities back to ClaritySoft. You also can send emails from within ClaritySoft out, and you also one of the other topics we'll cover today will be getting all your settings. You need to get the credentials set up that allow you to send out of ClaritySoft. We also can set up an email signature so that when you send emails out of ClaritySoft, you have your email signature in them. And creating email templates and saving them so that you can use those to help automate, make it easier, less repetitive, by creating and saving templates. And then we'll talk about sending emails individually, and then also sending emails in what we consider an email blast, which is sending the same email to multiple people. And then also ClaritySoft, lastly, allows you to track those emails that you send out so that you can see that they were indeed delivered. You get a ping back that the person read the email and that kind of information. So we have a lot to cover today. And we'll go ahead and get started. One of the things to note, there is a Q&A panel in Zoom meeting. If you have any questions while I am talking, then please type your questions in that Q&A panel. And when I glance over there, I'll try and remember to answer the question. But I will get to them before the end of the session today. So don't give up on me. I will notice them at some point. We have a pretty good group today. So far, we've got 21 people here, so we have a nice group. And we should probably get some good questions here. Now, let me go back here. All right, so what I'm going to do is dive in and switch to my ClaritySoft. The first thing that we want to talk about are the different connections that you can make to ClaritySoft. And I'm going to start with the Gmail extension. If you are using Gmail, then we do have an extension that you can add to your Gmail that will allow you to save emails from Gmail back to ClaritySoft. And I have a Gmail open here, and up here you can see this little ClaritySoft insignia. This is the Saved ClaritySoft button, and what you will do is install the extension, and I'll go into that in just a minute to show you where you get the information for that. But when you install this extension, this is going to allow you to save an email back to an account record, a lead record, a contact record, or an opportunity record. This really gives you a lot of flexibility here because you can pick which one you want to save to. Currently, I have my overall setup that I would get a choice of a lead, a contact, or an opportunity. And then when I actually save the email or send an email and want to save it back, then I can pick which of these three that I have set up here. And so you walk through that process. Now to get installed, what I suggest is go to your ClaritySoft, click on the question mark button up here, and go to the support portal. Once you're in the support portal, then you can enter Gmail extension in the search, and it will take you to this page. So we have the Gmail extension. There's a short video here that will explain how it works and how to install it. And then we have installation and configuration. So when you click here, it explains, here's the link to take you to get the extension, and then follow the directions down through here Basically, you add the extension, excuse me, to Chrome, and then once you've done that, you log into your ClaritySoft to make the connection to the database. So then Chrome knows where it is. It will add that little ClaritySoft button, and then you choose where you want to be able to save those emails. And then from that point forward, it's all installed and you're ready to go. So that's the easiest way probably to get the directions and get this set up. But to demonstrate it, if I come back here and I create an email, I can put in the person I want to receive it, subject, and we'll just say, okay. So once I have this typed, I come down here and I see this little ClaritySoft icon, which says send and save to ClaritySoft. So I would click on it, and then I get to pick. Now notice the three options that I have are the three that I turned on in this button up in the upper right. So I want to save this to contacts because I know that the person I'm sending to is in my contacts module. And I was playing with this earlier, and it says select from auto detected. So it looks at the database and it says there are 2 Susan Arnolds in here and I could select one, but I was having some difficulty doing that. So I'm going to do it this way. Search existing contacts, and I can type in a name. Again, it finds the people. I pick which person I want to save it to, and then I simply click save. And then at the same time, it sends the message out. So it's in my sent folder here, okay, right here. And then if I return to my ClaritySoft and I look up Susan, here is Susan Arnold at ClaritySoft LLC. So when I click the expand button here and I go to closed activities, there is my Gmail, Chrome extension test email. Now notice what it does, which is kind of nice if you're using both Outlook and Gmail. You can distinguish which one is sent from which here, because the G will be put here to indicate that this was sent through Gmail or saved through Gmail, and this will be put here if you've sent something and saved it through Outlook. So if you're using both, you will be able to see which one is which and what you sent. So then when I open my email, there it is. All right. So that's very simple to do. Again, follow the steps in the support portal and you should be able to set it up. If you have any difficulties, then please, call the tech support team and they will be happy to help you with that. All right. Now the Outlook plugin, some good things on that are happening. We have our original Outlook plugin that you can install, and that one, if you've been around for a while with ClaritySoft and have installed it, here's the email, I received it here, puts this button on your home ribbon in your Outlook, and that's down at the website download.claritysfa.com, and that again is also in the support portal. So you can go look up Outlook plugin and then you can download it and install it. Once you have downloaded this though, there is some configuration that you need to do. This just gives you the program, and you need to go to this little down arrow in the lower right corner and go to define connection information. And what we have to do is we have to make the connection between your database and Outlook using an API key. Now mine is all set up, but I can walk you through the steps here so you'll see what to do if you haven't done this yet. The first thing that you'll need to do is click in this circle to say connect to ClaritySoft Live. It will default to offline. So you connect to ClaritySoft Live. That will make these fields active. You type your server database name in this field here. This field will be blank. So what we have to do is create this key, have the system create a key for you that will be your, basically your connector key. And to do that, you click the Create button. It's going to launch you off to a web page where you're going to type your login information for your database. And then click Submit Query. Then this screen will display. Now when you get this screen the first time, all you're going to see are the headings here. You will not have any keys yet. So you'll see the headings, that's good. Then you're going to click Create New API Key. And I'm not going to do that because I don't want to create a new API key, I have one. But you'll click this button and another window will pop open that has some fields to fill in. You do not need to fill them in. You just simply click Submit Query. And when you do that, it will return back to this screen and give you keys. The key that you want is the private key. So you will drag across this private key and either do a Control-C for copy or a right-click and a copy. Then you can go back down to your Outlook and point to this window to return to it, and then paste your key into this field. Once you've done that, you click on the Test the Key, and it will then say it's been verified. I think if I click on it, it'll tell me. So it'll come up with this message. And as long as you have that, you're good to go. You've now made the connection between your Outlook and ClaritySoft. So that this particular plugin gives you the ability to save to contacts, okay? And if that's where you want to save your emails, then that one will work perfectly for you. If you want in your database, you want to also be able to save to the leads module and the opportunities module like you can with the Gmail extension, then we just recently released a new version of the Outlook plugin that you can install. And this one gives you the capability to save to any of the modules listed here. It also gives you the ability to sync your calendars, which this one does too. And what you do once you've installed it, you then click on this little arrow again, and it's going to pop up with the login window. So you'll type in your login information and simply log in, and it makes the connection. So it's a little less complex than installing the other Outlook plugin. And then it gives you greater capabilities. So for example, if I had this email here and I wanted to save it to, I'm not sure I have an opportunity, but I'll just click here to show you what would happen. All I have to do is click this, and it then gives me the ability to type in the name of an opportunity and then search for it, and then I can attach it. If I want to save it to a particular account, I can search for the opportunity by the account name. Okay, so I can search for an opportunity by the account name, the contact name, or the opportunity. If I click on saving it to a lead, it's going to let me search for a particular lead that I have in the database, okay? So then you just type it in, it finds it, and then you say, okay, this is where I want to save that email. So it gives you some nice flexibility there. A lot of times people, especially with sales opportunities, want to be able to save the emails that they're sending or receiving that are specific to a particular sales opportunity. So when you go to that opportunity record, then you have the ability, to see all your emails that you've done. You don't have to go back to contacts. So those are the 3 ways to connect. Also, good news for Mac users. You've been waiting for this for a while. We do have an Outlook add-in for the Mac now. And if you go to your Outlook and Mac and you click on Get Add-ins, then you can search for ClaritySoft and you can download and install the add-in for the Mac version of Outlook. So that's a big plus. The calendar synchronization for that will be available in a few more weeks. But for right now, you can do your emails. So if there are any Mac users out there, I can see the smiles on your faces. You've been waiting for this for a long time. All right? Any questions on that, the connections being made? Put them in the Q&A panel if you have any. All right. Now, that allows you to save emails from Outlook, Gmail into ClaritySoft. So if you're sending or receiving emails there, you can choose which ones you want to save back to ClaritySoft. You also, as I said before, can send emails from within ClaritySoft going out. And to do that, you need to do some email settings set up here. So this might be taken care of by your admin user when you first set up your database. It might not. You might also have to connect with your IT person, perhaps, for some of these settings. I see Diane is asking me a question. I have the first version with Outlook. Do I have to delete it before installing the new one? No, you do not, because I have both versions on my computer. Right here is the original Outlook, and this one I just recently installed. So you can choose to use either one. This one here will always save to a contact record. These will save to wherever you decide to save them. So they work in conjunction with each other. So, all right. So in here, when you come to the settings, clicking on the little gear shape button, if you are a non-admin user, you're going to see this section only, My Settings. And you can see you have email settings, email templates, email signatures. If your IT person or your admin person has already set you up, then when you go to this email settings, you will see all your information filled in here, and hopefully it's been tested and is working properly. It's possible too, they may put all this information in, and the only thing you have to enter is down here for your email password. And once you enter your email password, then you can click apply to save the changes. It'll tell you it's saved, and then you click the blue button to test it. And it'll say successful, or it'll say failed. Now, if it says failed, it's most likely you'd mistyped your email password. So either mistyped it or you put the wrong one in, and you might have to, dig around to find that. Because I'm assuming if your admin or IT person has put in the other settings, they know those should work. So this may take a little bit of doing, but with this, you put in your email address, the server type here. You can choose Exchange Server if you're using Outlook 365 or Office 365. That's what you would choose. You may have your own Exchange Server. If you're using Gmail, then you would pick Gmail. If you're using an SMTP server, then you can pick others and put in the credentials for that. So it just depends on what you're using. And then depending on what you pick, different things will show up here, okay? And if you're using Exchange Server, there are different versions. I think if you just choose current version, you're probably fine, unless you've got some very old one. And then, like I said, for Outlook, Office 365, you can just put outlook.office365.com. You don't necessarily have to put anything in the server domain. You would choose SSL, and then your email again and your email password. And that should work. If it doesn't, then you may need to talk to someone, and, you know, again, if you can't get it to work, then please call our tech support team and they'll be happy to walk you through. Sometimes there are special settings on your network that block it from happening, but basically these are your outgoing email settings for your Gmail or for your Outlook. So that's what this is for outgoing emails, all right? And then once you do that, once you do those settings, you need to log out and log back in, okay? And then the database has those settings set for you, and you'll be good to go. Now, using the email, once you get all the technical stuff done, now you get into the good stuff. So in ClaritySoft, as I said, there are different ways to send emails out. You can send emails one at a time to a specific person, or you can send emails out to a group of people. So the first thing is to send an email out to one person. You can simply look up the one person. You can look up the person, and then you don't have to do anything here. You can slide right over here to the email column, which is usually visible by default. If it's not visible in your columns, you can make it visible by clicking up here on the vertical ellipsis button and going to column settings and drag email from the left to the right. Or if you don't care about doing that, you can go to the row action button here and click on it and see email contact right there. So it doesn't matter if the email address is showing or not. You can choose it there. Or you can click in the checkbox to select the record, go to list actions, and choose email contacts. All three ways will get you to the same thing, okay? So I'm just going to click on the email address, and it opens an email form in ClaritySoft. So it will have the from, and it will have the to, which happen to be the same here. And then I can type my subject line, and I can say, you know, checking in or whatever. And then I can come down here and I can go, hi, Susan, and status, and then go from there, okay? Now, and then basically I can insert my signature once I have it done. So that's actually the next step that I should be doing, is showing you how to create a signature so you can put it in. Another thing I want to bring up right now, you see this little blobby piece down here. This is Adobe Flash attempting to run, and it's currently covering up the paperclip button for the attachment. Up until about 3 weeks ago, if you came into your ClaritySoft once and you did a right click on this and then enabled Flash and then allowed it, it stayed on forever. But Chrome did an update about 3 weeks ago, which turns Flash off every time you log out. And so every time you log back into ClaritySoft, you have to re-enable Flash, which we are working on. We are correcting it. So, but until the correction is done, here's what you need to do, because I want you to watch what's going to happen. I just typed my email here. If I'm not going to send an attachment, it's no big deal. I can just click send. But if I decided I wanted to send an attachment, I'd come down here, right click, enable Flash, allow, and the annoying thing it's going to do is throw your email away. So if you just spent 10 minutes typing a really nice email and then you decided to attach something, you're not going to be very happy when it throws it away. So here's my suggestion until we solve the issue, is when you come into ClaritySoft in the morning, click on an email, get rid of that little puzzle piece. See, now I have my paperclip, and get Adobe Flash enabled, and then as long as you're in there the whole day, you're fine, and then you won't have a problem. And like I said, the development team is solving this, and I'm sure we will let everyone know when it is indeed solved. But just to save a lot of people from maybe gritting their teeth and grumbling, just be aware that that has occurred. And it's not our fault, it's Chrome. So anyway, so now I have my email. I can do this again. I've had this happen to me sometimes, and it just is frustrating. So I get in the habit of copying the text before I do stuff. Okay, so hi, Susan. And you can, just like you do anywhere else in Gmail or Outlook, you can type whatever you want for your email. And in this case, I can insert a signature, but I'm going to show you how to build one so that you can throw it in. All right. And then you click send. It's going to send it out to Susan through ClaritySoft, going out through those Outlook or Gmail, going out email settings. Okay. And again, that email, because you've sent it from ClaritySoft, is automatically saved to the database. Where'd it go? It'll come through here in a minute. There it is. I hear it coming in my email. So there it is. So it's saved here. So you don't, that's what's nice sending it out of ClaritySoft directly, is you don't have to then save it back to ClaritySoft. But, it depends on how you work. You can, flip back and forth between the two, whatever you're doing as you're working during the day. So very simple to do. Look up the person, click on the email, type the email. All right. Now let's learn how to create that signature, because that's our next step. And then we'll also learn how to create a template, because templates can help you create text that you maybe type over and over and over again, and save it so that you don't have to retype your emails over and over again. So first of all, we're going to create our signature. So I'm going to go to Settings, go to Email Signatures, and you can create, I have one here, but I'm going to create another one. And I'm going to click Add. So the first thing you do is type a name. And then I'll click down in here. Now I could type and create my signature from scratch, or if you have a really nice signature that you have created in Outlook, you can go to your Outlook. What I usually do is I open a new email, and then I go right here to Signatures, which is where you originally design it, and then I just copy it. And I could go down and copy all these extra buttons, but I'm not going to go that far. And then I can close this and close this. And then I just click in here, and I'm doing a paste with a Control V. So you can see that my text comes through. Now it's coming through without the font that I used. So I can select this, come here and pick the font and the size. Then if you have some colors to your text, you can also select the text and come over here to your text color, and you can set it to your different colors. And you've got the more colors there that would take you, out to all the colors. So you can do that. Now, the other thing here, my ClaritySoft logo doesn't display properly. And the reason is it needs to be uploaded to the server in order to be able to display. So what you're going to do with all the graphics that come across, if you have Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and all the different ones, you'll do them one by one. But you point to this and you can either double click it or right click it. I tend to right click, I don't know why, and I go to Image Properties. And when this opens, we're seeing basically a red X here because it's saying, well, I can't really find this logo. Up here, it has the path to the logo. So what I'm going to do while this is still selected, I'm going to right click on it and copy it. Or you can do a Control-C. Then I click on the Upload tab. I click on Choose File. And then I click in the file name and paste that path and click Open. So this knows where it is on my computer. I might not know where it is on my computer, so that makes it easy to find. And then I click, so now you can see the name of the file right here. And then I click Send it to the server. Once I do that, then it takes me back to the Image Info tab and it shows me my logo. Okay? And then all this text here, don't even worry about this. This does not display. This is just publishers test, stuff for publishing programs. So just worry about the logo. Over here, it gives you the current size. And you have this little padlock. You want to make sure this little padlock is locked. If I click it, see how it unlocks? And I click it again, it locks. You want to make sure it's locked because if you decide to change the size of your logo, maybe you want to up it a little bit to make it a little bit bigger. When you change the width, then the height will change automatically in proportion, the same ratio that the original size was. So if it's unlocked, it'll get all out of whack and you'll need to start over. So I could make it smaller, I could make it larger, whatever I want to do. Once I get it to the size that I want, I'll go back to, it was 177, I think. I click OK. And then it falls into place and there's your logo. So what will happen, like I said, if you have other icons, you just right-click on that icon, follow the same steps. Copy the path name, go to the Upload tab, click Browse to go find, to open the Explorer window, paste the path in, find it, and then upload it to the server, and then it'll go back, and then you can just put it in. So that's the only tricky thing about your signature if you're copying and pasting it. Now, if you are taking it from, you're building this from scratch, then you can come here to this Insert Image button, and you can insert an image from here. And it lets you go find, actually you would go to Upload first, find your file, and bring it in and then send it to the server, and then it would take you back to here and show you your file. So you can do it, by copying and pasting, or you can click and insert the image directly in here. Okay? So any questions on creating your signature? Once you've got it done, if you click in this default, that means that when you open a new blank email to send, it automatically will put this signature in. And so then I can click Save. I now have that. So if I go back and I open another email here, oh, I need to log out. I was trying to remember if I needed to log out. I guess the saying should be, when in doubt, log out. I'll just click on any email here. So you can see now that I mark that as my default email, it automatically puts, or signature, excuse me, it automatically puts that signature in for me. I still have the option down here for insert signature where I can say no signature, or I can pick which signature I want. So you can have multiple signatures saved. Perhaps you send things out from different people and you want to insert their signatures into the email. So you could save different ones and then choose which one you want to use for a particular email. All right. All right. So that's, again, once it's done, very simple. It's there for you to use. Okay. Email templates. Go to settings again and go to email templates. So you can create any number of email templates that you would like to have. For example, I've got one here for new customer that you can create and save it. These are very, simple. Obviously, they're not terribly good, but they're just a sample. So when you're creating a template, you would give it a name. You put in the subject line that you want. It's going to save into this default folder, and then you create your text. And so you can create these, save these. If you need to modify them, you can open them up and modify them. You can even modify them when you're getting ready to send it. If you have the basic template and you want to add another sentence, you can do that before you send it. It won't come back and save it back to here unless you tell it to, but it allows you to create, in a sense, a library of templates to make it easier for everyone to send things out and standardize them so that you know that the kinds of things that are going out really represent your company and the way you want it to be. So if I cancel this one and we create a brand new one, all you need to do is click the Add button. And, well, let's see. I'll call this left voice message as the name of the file. And then in the subject line, let's say that this is for if you called somebody and they weren't there and you left them a voice message. You just want to shoot them an email very quickly to say, hey, I called you, I left a message, I'm sorry I missed you. And then, please call me back or I'll try to call you back. Just something to indicate that they should check their voicemail. So, which some people don't do. All right, so I'm just going to put in here, sorry I missed you. And then I'm going to come down here, and because I want this to be generic, I want to pull in, I don't want to just put a name in because I don't know who it's going to go to. So we have the capability to insert fields. And you click on this little green arrow here. And this gives you a list of different fields that you can insert into the text of the email. So notice you can pull in any name part. You could pull in the account name if you want, the job title of the person. So these are pieces of information that might be pulled into different parts of the text. So you have a first name field here, which you could do. You also have a salutation field. And the difference here would be your first name field would be perhaps a more formal name for someone, and you would put that in the first name field. You'd put their last name in the last name field. The salutation field can be used for a nickname, if someone has a nickname. It's how you would greet the person if you met them face-to-face or if you called them on the phone. How would you greet them? So for example, maybe, my name is Susan, but maybe most people call me Susie. And that's how I go, but my formal first name is Susan. So in the database, I would put Susan in the first name field, but in the salutation field, I would put Susie. So then if I'm sending an email to people, I would want it to greet them with the name that I would call them. So I would want it to be Susie instead of Susan, and I would put the salutation in. You'll have to decide if you do this, and the trouble you can get in is if you don't consistently fill in the salutation field, and some of them are blank. So when you send something, it might say hello, nothing here, which wouldn't look very good. So you want to make sure before you would use this field that everyone has consistently entered something in the salutation field. The other way you can use it is maybe there's a person you work with who's much more formal, and even perhaps a doctor or somebody, and they prefer to be called Dr. Smith. They do not like to be called John by their first name. They prefer Dr. Smith, or that's just how you want to greet them. So that you would put into the salutation field of Dr. Smith rather than John. Okay, so the salutation field can contain the first name, a nickname, or a more formal type of greeting. I'll choose first name here because that's the most generic one. And it inserts a field. Then you can put your comma or your colon, whatever you're doing. And then you can type your email. Again, this is not a very good email, but whatever. Okay, and then now here, your inclination would be to insert your signature, but you don't put your signature in the template because it will appear in the email when you bring the template in, okay? So you would simply put, now if you could just leave it like this, and then we're going to come up here and save it. So now I have this new template. So I go back to my database, and if I called somebody, and again, I'll use myself. So if I called Susan and left her a voice message, I could log a call, that I left a voice message. I could log an activity for that, first of all, to say, whoops, called you, you weren't there. So that you've logged that. You could put some notes there. And then you can say, well, I want to send her an email just to let her know that I left a voice message. So while you've done that, you can then simply click on this, and you don't need to type a thing. You simply come down here and do Insert Template. Click on Left Voice Message. And just so you know, when you're clicking on these templates, don't click on the link. It opens a web page. Click on the icon. You've probably done that. So there it is. It's already in there. And then, I didn't put my name here. I could type that in and then simply click Send. So it's already typed. It's already done. It's ready to go. So think of the kinds of repetitive emails that you send out during the course of the day and create templates for those. And then you can simply choose the template and send it, and it takes less than 10 seconds to do. So those are the kinds of things that can help you and other people on your sales team become a little more efficient, also make it a little, like I said, more standardized on what you're sending out. When you create a template, another thing to know, you are able, these are created by you because they're under my settings, so they belong to you and no one else can see these. But if you created a nice standard type of template, welcome a new customer, thank you for your interest in our products, whatever, you can click here and say share it. Then you can choose any or all the users that are here to share it with, and when that person logs out and logs back in and goes to email templates, then they will see, that person will see the templates that you've shared. So if I decided to share this with, well, I'll share it with Kelly. So now if I log in as Kelly, then I would be able to see this left voicemail message in the email templates list. So that makes it nice to be able to do. Somebody who's, maybe good at writing and formatting those kinds of emails can do that. Okay, Cynthia's asking, can you repeat the steps after you set your activity? Absolutely. So if I called Susan and she was not available and I left a voice message, the first thing I probably want to do is log that call, okay? So you can go to Closed Activities tab, click the plus sign, and then choose the activity type of call, and I'll just say, so we know this one. And the date and time will already be there, so then you can throw a note in, tried to call, wasn't in the office, I'll just put was not in the office or was on vacation or whatever. So you do that. Then let's say you want to send an email so that Susan knows that you left this voice message. And again, just to kind of follow up again, I left this open to see all these lists of activities. You could collapse this back up, and then all you need to do is click on Susan's email address. That will open the send email window. Then I've already created the template, and then I click on Insert Template, choose the template that I want, click on its icon, it pulls the text in, and like I said, if you wanted to add something else more personal in there because you're only sending this to one person, you can do that. I'm going to type my name, and then you just simply click Send, and off it goes. So does that make sense now, Cynthia? Yes, that's my next step. Now, Diane is asking me, can I send this template to more than one person? Yes, that's an email blast. So that's our next step. So what we want to do, let's say you want to send something out to more than one person. Now, a couple of things here. Let me say a couple things. Getting close to the end of my time. If you made several phone calls to multiple people, you could, if you could get them listed together, then you could click in checkboxes over here and say, well, I called this person, I called this person, and I called this person, and none of them were in. Then you would go to List Actions and choose Email Contacts, all records marked as checked, and then I could, again, go up here now to Template, which is up in the top, and do Left Voice Message. So if I could get all 3 or 4 of them all together on the same screen, because maybe I did a filter, you could do that. And if, none of them are in, you could send the same message all at one time. Because again, what happens, because, there it is, it's putting in first name, so it's going to pull in, hello Eric, hello Patrick, hello Robert. So it's going to individually address those to those 3 people, and you're going to send out the same message to 3 people if you miss them. So that's kind of a little mini blast that you're sending, just to follow up. Now, if you're doing a more formal email blast, then let's say you want to send out an email. It could be a newsletter, a promotional email, something like that. One of the things I've created in my little database here is I've created a communications list custom field. So if I open this record, right here is the field, and I've made it a multi-select drop-down so that I can assign each person to one or more of these types of communications. You could be searching on industry, you could be searching on a lot of different things, But you know, you can also have something like this if you're doing, you know, different types of communications. So I've created that in here. So let's say that I want to send an email, a promotional email out to people. So what I want to do is, first of all, filter the list to pull up all of the people that are supposed to receive a promotional email. And you can see down here I have 384 people. So I can come up here to my spyglass or search button, go to advanced search, and then here's my communications list field, and I can say promotional. That's all I want. Click search. I get 26 people, okay? So I want to send the same thing out to all 26 people. So I'm going to come down here. Now down at the bottom here it says results per page. The default is 20. You can change it to 50 or you can change it to 100. I've reset my default to 100. And I like that just because I can scroll and see more things on one page. But this is going to play into the next couple of steps, so just remember that. So I want to send to these 26 people. I click in this checkbox. This is going to select all the people on the first page here, which is all 26 of my people, okay, because I'm displaying up to 100. Then I go to List Actions, Email Contacts. Here's where you want to think about this number. All records marked as checked or all filtered records. If the total number of records down here is less than the number of records that are the result, then you can do the first option. If this total was 126 and this was 100, then I would choose all filtered records, okay? Because the check marks won't go past the first page. They only go to the first page. So I can do all records marked as checked. This is going to list all 26 people over here. And if there's a person without an email address, obviously they won't be in the list because I can't send it. Then if I have a template already to go, I can click on my template, and let's say I want to send a new customer template to 26 new people. Then you can send that, or I might have a new products list, you know, something that's promotional, be new products. Actually, let me do this one. It's a great travel places. It's a little more promotional. So here's a great list of places, or list of places to visit. So this is a promotional type email that I'm sending. It's doing hello first name, so it's going to go down through and pull in all the first names. It's from me, okay? It's ready to go, and I can, if I'm ready to send it, I simply click the send button. Now the other option that you have is to click on this little drop-down list, and you can send it at a specific time, in an hour, 2, 4 hours, couple days, a week, or 2 weeks. So you can schedule something to go out at a particular time, and then it will just wait and it will go when you've told it to send. So that's kind of nice because you can line some different things up. You could select a couple different lists and say, well, I want this one to go out, you know, in an hour, and I want the next one to go out in 2 days, and I want the next one to go out in 4 days. So it allows you to line things up here and send them out on a bit of a schedule. So that's how you do an email blast. It's basically filter the list for what you want. You know, first of all, create your template so you have it and have it saved. Filter the list for what you want, and then select all the records, list actions, because you're acting on a list, email contacts, okay? And then open the template and send the email. Now the other thing that goes along with this here, you'll notice when you do this search, it has advanced search view up here. And one of the nice things, especially if you are sending out regular email blast type things to different kinds of lists, when you do a filter using the advanced search, you can save it. So I could call this promotional mail list and save it so that the next time I want to send, oh, I already got one. Here's all contacts, so I'm back to my 384, but the next time I want to send out a promotional email, I pick my promotional mail list. Anyone that's been added to that list, you know, between the time you create this and the time you pull it up again, it's a filter you're saving, not a list that you're saving. So it would add any new people. And you can create and save as many lists as you want. So I could have one for the holiday mail list, one for newsletter, and very quickly pull them up. And if you wanted to also, you know, say I only want to send them to people in certain state or whatever region or territory, then you can do that. So that's how you do an email type of blast. Okay, Pam's asking a good question. Is there a way to edit a template in a blast by individual before sending? No, you cannot do that. I know in Word when you're doing a mail merge, you can do that. You can stop each one and add something to each one, but in ClaritySoft, no. Once you click that send button, they just go. And they all go out individually, so there isn't a way to do that. The only thing you could do is somehow segment your list. You know, if you wanted a different message to go to different group of people, then you could have two different templates and somehow segment your list and send, you know, one group, one type of message and another one. But that's a good question. Okay. All right. So we've covered all of that. The only other caution on your email blast is you want to be careful how many you're sending out at one time. There are rules and restrictions on that. And so you want to make sure that you're not going over the limitations allowed by your internet service provider, because you can get your email blacklisted, and you don't want that to happen. So you want to check, you know, with your network person, your IT person, your internet service provider, and make sure you're not going over the limits that you can send out per day. Usually it's around 150, 200 that you can send out at one time. Now, if you have our marketing module, you might have noticed under list actions, there's marketing email, then that would point you to the marketing module. All right, last thing, because we've done our hour. In your database, you will have an option for email manager. When you go there, it will say email tracking. And then you'll see all the emails that you've sent out. So right now it says this week. So these are the emails that were sent out this week, this quarter, last month. So I can look at them and I can see what I've sent out. And you can go by user as well. So you could choose yourself, or you could look at all users and all the emails that have been sent out. It gives you the email so that you can open it here. It tells you what account, what contact, what module it was sent from, and then the status that it was completed. So far, nobody's read it because I haven't clicked on the email to read it. That helps you know what's been sent, whether somebody's read it, and when. Okay, Laura is asking, is there a way to resend the same email, one generated from a template, once you've sent it to a list of selected people? If you mean sending the same template again? If you mean sending the same template again, then yes, you could reselect your list of people and just send them the same template. I'm not quite sure if I'm answering that for you, Laura. We might have to talk about that one offline to get more detail. Anyway, so that's your email. get in there and, create some templates, get your signature created, and then send your emails out. One last thing, I'm going to do this really quickly. I'm going to go over time. You can filter at the account level, and then you can view contacts, because sometimes you might want to pull something up in a filter where the data only exists in the account record. And so what you can do is you can go here, and I'm using this segment search, and let's say I want to find all the people who are in manufacturing. That's all I want. So I've got a list of 25 people in manufacturing. I'm going to do the same sort of thing. I'm going to select them all. I'm going to go to list actions, but here I'm going to say view contacts, because I need to see the contacts in order to be able to send an email. So I'm going to click on this. All records marked as checked. ClaritySoft takes me to contacts, shows me the contacts for those 25 accounts. There's only 12 of them, so there's a lot with no people. And then I can simply click email contacts and send. So don't get stuck thinking that you can't filter at the account level and then get to the emails, okay? So you can filter at the accounts, select the records, list actions, view contacts, in contacts, select the records, list actions, email contacts. You could also do that from activities too. You could go to activities and filter out certain activities, and then select the records and view the contacts. So there's a lot of things under list actions to go look at and explore, because you can move from one part of the database to another with a selected list. All right, so I'm past my time. I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint here. And again, I always like to close out, info@claritysoft.com. Please send us ideas for new webinars you'd like to see. Also send critiques. I like to know how I'm doing. And then if you need any help, you can call our support team at 888-838-7487 extension 2, or email them at support@claritysoft.com. If you're still doing your implementation/onboarding with either Linda or myself, then talk to us and we'll help you with anything that has to do with the email setup. All right? So thank you all for coming and staying. And you all have a good rest of the afternoon and a good rest of the week. Bye-bye.